Africa Rise and Shine, coming to you live from Johannesburg in South Africa. Global analytics company FICO has, for a second consecutive year, seen members of its Europe, the Middle East and Africa team recognized for outstanding efforts as finalists in the Women in Credit Awards. With so few women in the technology sector, diversity and gender equity remain a challenge. This comes as South Africa commemorates Women's Month, a tribute to the more than 20,000 women who marched to the Union buildings on August the 9th in 1956 in protest against the extension of past laws to women. To discuss this further, we are now joined on the line by the Managing Director at FICO Africa, Michelle Beater. Michelle, good morning, and thank you for joining us on Africa Rise and Shine.
Good morning, Ruby. Thanks for having me.
Now, Michelle, as we mark Women's Month, can we focus on your career as a woman in the artificial intelligence or AI sphere? How did your career start, and how did you land up leading the team at FICO Africa?
Really, actually, it's a long story, far too long for our conversation, but my career actually started in a very different industry, in mining and in human resources. And it wasn't by design that I entered the IT industry, but it's been a very rewarding career. I have a degree in economics, so one could say that my formal education was based on using data to make informed decisions. But actually, I think it was the opportunity to, a couple of years ago, run one of the largest credit bureaus in the country that at a time when people were really starting to understand the value of big data that has guided my career since. So, I think there's a plethora of data available to businesses today. And because of that, AI is relevant in every organization. FICO is at the heart of all of this, and we help our customers unlock the value of that data and make better decisions each and every day.
Now, Michelle, one of the major challenges is basically encouraging interest amongst girls, young women who view technology-based careers as male-only career paths. What's your personal viewpoint on science, technology, engineering, and maths careers as an option for women in general? Do you feel that there are barriers to entry for women, specifically in the field of AI?
I think the barriers for women in every field, but that shouldn't get us standing in our way. So, I would encourage women, particularly young girls, to set their goals and go for them. One of the great things about the STEM field is that it's always hungry for the best talent, and it pays relatively well, and is a growth field. So if girls have an interest in a technology career, and they have the aptitude for it, I think they can go far and really should go for it.
And speaking of, thriving in different industry sectors, the qualities young people need, or as parents in steering young girls in certain directions, can you chat about, just very briefly, some of the challenges you faced? You mentioned earlier that you did economics, and obviously that's, data and so on. How do we ensure that young women who are up and coming may not also face the same challenges, or they may make decisions early on in their career for their specific career paths going forward?
Yeah, so I think, they talk about taking a village to raise a child. It also takes a community to support a career. So I'm glad you mentioned the parents. I think first and foremost, you have to be good at maths. And I think we've got to encourage our girls to pursue maths courses to the best of their ability at school. And I also believe that, coding has become such a part of everything that we do. Any computer science courses that are available should be taken. I think the other thing that we can do for girls is make sure, AI and this field is also about being curious. It's about problem solving, about discovering new patterns to solve problems. I mean, think about COVID and what we've had to solve in the healthcare space, equally in science and in business. So encouraging, those pursuing courses where you're taught right? I mean, even things like physics, I'm sure if you think back to your high school career, you think about, car going in one direction at one pace and another those kind of, being curious about why things work the way they do. And the other thing that actually makes people stand out in this field is communication. So the ability to be able to explain complex things to people who maybe aren't in the field. So people who can complement science with a human side actually will, have great opportunity in this field.
Now, you're a finalist in the Women in Credit Awards as the Best Team Leader of the Year 2021. What are the Credit Awards all about, and how does it feel to be nominated for this award?
So the awards are given by an organization known as Credit Strategy in the UK, and they do a great job of championing the work of women across the credit and financial services industry. And they empower, connect, support, and uncover achievements among women in the profession. I'm obviously extremely honored to be nominated and to be a finalist. While FICO is not a credit grantor, we do incredibly important work with banks and fintechs and others in South Africa in particular, making sure that credit decisions are made faster and made more fairly.
Well, Michelle, all the best, and thank you so much for your time this morning on Africa Rise and Shine.
Thanks so much for the opportunity again, Lily.
That was Michelle Beater, Managing Director at FICO Africa, joining us on the line.